Today we're going to be reacting to the Finnish language.
This was suggested to us on our reaction form suggestion. Thanks you for the person who suggested that. If you want to suggest something, check out the link in our description. It'd be very interesting to learn about the language here because it sounds so unique to me when we hear it.
Very, we've never heard it in real life either. Obviously Finland's a very small population, so it'd be very interesting to go there and just kind of hear around just the Finnish language and see the signs, because the only other Nordic country we've been to together is Iceland, and then just see the long Icelandic words on the sign, we're just like, whoa.
Yeah, those are crazy. I don't even know how you pronounce it.
But let's jump into it. Here we go.
What do you mean? When are you going to finish talking about italki? Oh, I'm already finished. Okay, good, because you have a language video to make. Oh, that's right. What language is it today? Finnish. Yeah, I'm finished.
Nice.
It's like the Minecraft movie. Are you
Hello,
Finnish?
everyone.
No, he's
Welcome
Swedish.
to the Lang Focus channel, and my name is Paul. Today, I'm going to talk about the Finnish language. As you probably know, Finnish is the majority language spoken in Finland. It has about 5.4 million native speakers, with 4.9 million of them living in Finland, which is about 90% of the population of Finland. It's one of the two official languages of Finland, along with Swedish, which is spoken by about 5% of the population. And there are also Finnish-speaking minorities across the border in Russia, in Norway, and in Sweden.
So the border is kind of...
And there are also
These are the Swedish ones, you'd assume?
Yeah, they're like... Oh, wait.
Oh, wait, why does it go into... Wait, are these... What is this?
Those are the minorities then, and then the dark blue is the majority, maybe?
Oh, interesting.
So if we go into northern Sweden, people like this little area, the dark blue, people are going to speak Finnish there?
Where do they speak Swedish in Finland?
Yeah.
It's got to be up here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Finnish-speaking minorities across the
I think this is the minority thing, yeah, but
border
they never
in
showed a
Russia.
map for where people speak Swedish in
Russia, in
Finland.
Norway, and in Sweden. You may have seen my video on the North Germanic languages. It's this one right here. And you might remember that I specifically excluded Finnish from that video. That's because even though Finland is a Nordic country with geographic and historical connections to Scandinavia, the Finnish language is not a North Germanic language. In fact, it's not even an Indo-European language. It is part of the Finnic language group, which is a branch of the Uralic language family. Other members of the
Hungarian's
Finnic group
in
are
there.
Estonian.
That's so interesting that Hungarian is with Finland. They're pretty far away.
Then Sami is like part of Finland, I feel like I recall, but I don't know what these other ones are. Kanti, Mansi, Mari, Mordvinik.
Karelian,
interesting.
Ludic,
Estonian.
Veps, Ingrian, Vodic, and Livonian. But Finnish is the most widely spoken language in the Finnic language group. All the Finnic languages developed from Proto-Finnic, which was spoken around 3,000 years ago. The first stage was early Proto-Finnic. Then during the Middle Proto-Finnic period, some changes took place in that language, and it split into two: Proto-Samic, the ancestor of the Samic languages, and Late Proto-Finnic, which ultimately became the most recent ancestor of all the Finnic languages. It's worth noting that Finnish contains a significant number of Germanic loanwords, some of them which are clearly ancient in origin. For example, kuningas, which means king, tuoli, which means chair, and it comes from the same root as stool, and koulu, which means school. From words like these, we can see that the ancient Finns had extensive contact with Germanic peoples. Late Proto-Finnic diverged into three dialects: Eastern Proto-Finnic, Northern Proto-Finnic, and Southern Proto-Finnic. These three dialects of Late Proto-Finnic mixed with each other, and the resulting mixes of influences developed into the dialects that make up the Finnish language. Around the 12th century and 13th century CE, Sweden conquered Finland and made it a province of their country, and for the next few hundred years, Swedish was the language of administration. And during this time, Middle Low German was the lingua franca of commerce in the area, and Latin was the language of religion. Swedish and Middle Low German left an additional Germanic influence on Finnish, which during that time was strictly a language of daily communication. Finnish did not really become a written language until the 16th century, when a Finnish bishop named Mika...
Wait, really? 16th century?
It existed for so long, but it was never written down.
Wow.
Agricola created the first comprehensive writing system for the language. He based that system on the orthography of German, Swedish, and Latin, and it still forms the basis of the Finnish writing system today, although there have been changes since then. In 1809, Russia seized Finland from Sweden in a war and made it an autonomous state as part of the Russian Empire. The official language and the language of the elite remained Swedish, but Finnish national feeling and a desire to make the Finnish language dominant began to increase. In 1835, these feelings were amplified by the publication of Kalevala, a work of epic poetry written by Elias Lönnrot, with stories from Karelian and Finnish folklore and mythology. Lönnrot also played an important role in the development of Standard Finnish. In 1863, Finnish became an official language in Finland alongside the Swedish language, and they both remain official languages today. And with a new sense of national identity emerging,
I'm
Finland...
surprised like Russian never like mixed in at all into the language. I would have expected that.
Yeah.
Very.
Just kept with like Swedish kind of like took over, but then Finland, like the Finnish language, people wanted it to come back, so it was kind of brought back. But yeah, Russian was never part of that.
Finland eventually gained independence from Russia in 1917. Before Standard Finnish was created, the Finnish language consisted of a number of dialects that could be roughly divided into Eastern and Western dialects. The Western dialects are the ones upon which Standard Finnish was largely based. From what I understand, these days the dialects mostly consist of differences in accent. But outside of Finland, there are a few interesting dialects that are officially
It's
considered
not
to
like
be
dialects like we're in the Philippines and all the different islands have different dialects and they're like completely different.
Yeah,
Like different words, different everything.
It might be the same spelling and the same like word, but it'll mean different things and stuff like that, or like just completely different words for everything.
Even basic things like water, bathroom, like things like that are different just from island to island.
So it's always interesting when we hear about dialects, because from the U.S. we don't really understand that. The only thing we notice in the U.S. is different accents. You know, the regions of the U.S. have slightly different accents.
Technically, there's probably dialects since people use different words for different things in different parts of the United States.
Yeah.
Because that's like a big thing. Like you see the map in different places in the United States, the same thing, they call it different things. Is that considered a dialect at that point?
Yeah, I really don't know about that. That's always been confusing to me, dialects versus accents versus languages.
It seems like it almost should be, this is dialects, the Finnish version, and then the Filipino version, that kind of our just context to it all, should be different languages because they're so different.
different languages, even though they are intelligible with Standard Finnish. This includes the Karelian language in Russia, meänkieli, which is spoken by a Finnish minority in Sweden, and Kven, which is spoken by a minority in Norway.
Interesting.
So what is the Finnish language like? Well, it shares some features with the other members of the Finnic language group. Some of those features are no grammatical gender. There is no distinction between masculine, feminine, or neuter. Not even in the personal pronouns.
It's kind of like, it's probably, some of these we're going to see like what Osmo was talking about. Ismo, the Finnish comedian.
Yeah.
He had trouble with some of these things when he started learning English.
So they don't even have pronouns that say he or she.
And a lot of people that have that, when their language doesn't have that and they like try to speak English, they have trouble with the he's and she's and stuff like that.
It means both he
That's
and
so
she.
interesting.
And interestingly, Finland was one of the first countries to grant women the right to vote, and it was one of the first to have a female president. So maybe gender equality is just built into the language and way of thinking.
If you don't classify things, there's never a line
Hey,
there.
you never know.
Everyone's the same.
Next, no articles. Articles are the words like a or the in English. English speakers often wonder how you can communicate without those articles, but context usually provides enough meaning that you don't actually need the articles. Next, Finnish has some prepositions. In English, those are words showing location or relationship, like to or at or on. But Finnish has many more postpositions. These are similar to prepositions in function, but they come after the word that they add meaning to, rather than before. Here's an example sentence with a postposition.
Tori on kaupungin keskellä.
This sentence means the market is in the center of town. Tori means market. On is similar to is. Kaupungi is town. The N at the end of kaupungi is the genitive case showing possession. And then after kaupungin, we have keskellä, which is the postposition, which means in the middle. So it's a postposition because it comes after the noun kaupungi.
Okay.
Next, lots of grammatical...
That'd be so
it's
interesting if like,
postposition.
so if you had like a poor Google Translate like type thing and it like directly translated it like this, it'd be interesting to hear how somebody would speak like this, like directly. If somebody was talking to you in English and they spoke like this.
I feel like that actually kind of helps you learn languages a little bit easier. Someone like, if you can have it translate to English exactly how it's supposed to be said, so that when you speak it, you kind of like know in your head.
instead of it whipping around all over the place and adding the and all this extra stuff. And so interesting. Dang.
because it comes after the noun kaupungi. Next, lots of grammatical cases, 15 to be precise. That means that nouns, personal pronouns, and adjectives have 15 different forms depending on their function in the sentence. We can't look at all 15 right now, but let's look at an example. Finnish has the accusative case, which marks a direct object, and that's common in lots of languages. It can be shown with an N at the end of the word, or it can be shown with nothing, just left blank at the end of the word. But there is also something called the partitive case. This also marks a direct object if the object is only part of a whole, or if the action is incomplete, or if the action is negative.
Syötkö kalan?
This sentence means, will you eat the fish? Should means you eat.
You eat
is a
fish.
question marker. Kala is fish. And the N at the end of kala is the accusative case, showing that the action will be completed and that the whole fish will be eaten.
Syötkö kalaa?
Interesting.
Means, do you eat fish? So again, should is you eat. K is the question
It's the
marker.
same
Kala
sentence,
is fish. And
that
the
last
a
word
at the end of
changes what it
kala
means.
is
The
the
last letter
partitive
changes
case,
what it
which
means.
shows that there's no completed action. There's no completed action because there's no specific fish being eaten. This is just a general
very
question. Next, you may have noticed in the above example sentences
gosh, that'd
that
be
the
pretty
present
hard to
tense and
learn, I
future
feel
tense
like.
are the same. That's right, in Finnish there is no future tense, but the future can be indicated in a couple of ways. When you see a present tense verb with an accusative case object, like this, that indicates the future because it shows that the action will be complete at some point. When you see a
I guess
present
that
tense
makes
verb
sense.
with the partitive case, like this, that indicates present tense because the action is not a completed action, so it must be happening now. The future can also be clarified with a time expression. Here's an example demonstrating that there is no future tense in Finnish.
Luen.
This means I read.
Luen huomenna.
This means I will read tomorrow. Huomenna means tomorrow. And that time expression is what indicates that this action will take place in the future.
don't change
Next,
the I read,
there are a
you
lot
just
of
add
long words in
tomorrow.
Finnish because of agglutination and because of compound words. Finnish is an agglutinative language, meaning that words can be formed by attaching together pieces that add meaning to the word, without those pieces changing. You just attach them
Jeez.
together. In English, we might use separate words like conjunctions and prepositions, but in Finnish, special endings can be added to a
add
word stem.
together.
Here's an example starting with the word for house.
Talo. Talossa. Taloissa. Taloissani. Taloissanikin. Taloissanikinko.
Holy.
And a few additional features of Finnish. Number one, the main stress always goes on the first syllable of the word. Number
Okay.
two, there is no equivalent of the verb to have in Finnish. Number three, Finnish has negative verb conjugations. That means that instead of using a negation word like not, it has an entirely different form of the verb to show that it's negative. Finnish is clearly a very interesting language that might be quite different from the languages that you're used to speaking and learning. But is Finnish as hard to learn as people say it is? Well, I can't tell you from personal experience, but it seems to me that if you've never learned a language from the Finnic group or from the Uralic language family before, then you'll probably have to bend your mind a little bit to understand how that language works, and that'll probably take more focus and effort than learning a language that's more similar to your own. But
Seems
as
like
is
it.
always the case, your passion for any language or culture will carry you through the challenges of learning that language. So if you're fascinated by Finnish, you really should go for it. Okay, the question of the day. For Finnish speakers, how noticeable are the Finnish dialects today?
That
Can
is
you tell
interesting.
where
I would
a
also
Finnish
like to
speaker
know
is
that.
from just by hearing them speak? And a different question for people who've studied Finnish. How challenging is Finnish to learn? Did you find
Yeah,
it
I'm
quite
curious
tough,
about
or did
that.
you just find it
It seems
different?
like it'd be pretty hard, just like the creating super long words.
I feel like I've heard that Finnish is one of the harder languages to learn. I don't know.
I feel like all the Nordic languages would be kind of hard.
Mhm. Yeah.
Even the Finnish is his like own thing too. So you'd be like, oh, if I learn Norwegian or Icelandic, then I should be able to learn Finnish, right? And then it's just totally different.
Because it's like probably one of the hardest languages to learn that still uses like the Latin alphabet or whatever. So we
Yeah.
can like see the letters and know the letters, and we won't have to learn a new alphabet. But we'd have to completely change everything else that we know about a language. I feel like.
They don't even have half of like the most important parts of English just aren't parts of the language at all, which would make it so much more challenging to construct sentences.
Doesn't even make sense to me really at this point. So.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Let us know the answers to the questions we asked down in the comments. Really interested in it. I'm really interested to like hear the Finnish language. Like I said before, in Finland, we are planning to come to Finland maybe in the summer.
Yeah, we want to. It would be so cool.
So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.